for right now, Hunter Renfrow is going to start for the Carolina Panthers. That's our football at 4. Hunter Renfrow will start week 1 for the Panthers, and that's okay. Not great, not bad. It's okay. I'm indifferent on the subject. Dave Canales on Panther Talk, which aired yesterday evening right here on 99.9 The Fan, was asked about the re-signing of Hunter Renfrow. This is what he had to say.
I can't give Dan and Brant enough credit for just keeping the conversations open, being able to have the back and forth with Hunter, with his agent, and ultimately having the conversations over the weekends where we found an agreement, and just the special timing of it, that we might have plans and we might have things in our mind, Eugene, but ultimately the Lord's plan that prevailed. And for me, it was just kind of Hunter and I are standing out there on the practice field today. I was like, well, I wouldn't have pictured it happen this way. And he's like, me neither. But you know what? I'm so excited to be here. Let's go do it.
He's coming back. Listen, the biggest disappointment of the weekend, and I know there were some disappointments for college teams. The biggest disappointment for me was Jalen Coker's random quad injury that just popped up. And now he's on IR and can't play for 4 games. Because I didn't see anything that would predict that, right? Everything else, like if you look back, you're like, there were some signs we should have saw it, right? If a team didn't play bad, you know what? Maybe we should have seen that coming. That injury came out of nowhere. But once it happens, Hunter Renfrow being added and taken over as one of the three wide receivers and 3 wide receiver sets, that's fine. Adam Thielen wanted out. Not much you can do there. And by the way, for those of you that pretended he wasn't super interested in leaving, he left and immediately restructured his contract and just gave back a couple $1 million.
Ironically, like the couple million that the Panthers gave him to stick around retire.
To play for the Panthers, he demanded millions of dollars more. And the moment he wasn't playing for the Panthers, he was like, I don't need those millions anymore. That's how much he wanted to get out of Carolina. So Adam Thielen wanted out. What are you going to do? Followed up by a weird quad practice injury for one of your younger players who's been routinely praised for how he has rebuilt his body as a training mechanism this offseason. That's a strange sequence of events. So in that case, picking up a super veteran, very experienced slot receiver and putting him into your 3rd spot for a month until that young player can come back, that's not the end of the world. Hunter Renfrow is not your typical, we signed a wide receiver off the couch and are going to put him right into the starting lineup. The only reason he's available is because he chose to be available. Other teams reached out to him. He didn't want to play for anyone else. He didn't want to travel. He didn't want to go do that whole rigmarole. He basically was like, no, we'll sit here and wait here, see if anything happens with the Panthers. And it happened super quick. Now he gets to go right into the starting lineup. He has been there for training camp. He'll be fine. This is kind of the light amount of chaos, right? I don't consider this any kind of offensive shakeup. This is the light amount of chaos you sign up for when you keep 2 or 3 wide receivers on the roster that are big contributors on special teams. Right? Because if you would have kept somebody that was more wide receiver prone rather than special teams wide receiver hybrid, then you'd probably put that player up where you might have been Renfrow. You might have kept Renfrow and then just slid him from the active roster up into the starting lineup. But instead, you're not going to put David Moore, Bryce, and Tremaine in on 3 wide receiver sets. That's not their role. So you go sign Hunter Renfrow, you put him right in. It's in a weird way by design. Now, I will say this. None of this matters if Tepper McMillan doesn't show up pretty darn good, pretty darn early, and if Xavier Legette doesn't level up considerably. And you could throw in Jatavian Sanders and somebody catching out of the backfield, whether it's Dowdle, whether it's Trevor Etienne, whoever it is. Like the guys that you were going to depend on still have to be dependable. Renfrow will be, running option routes over the middle because that's what Renfrow does. Let's hear from Renfrow, shall we? Renfrow talked about, this is just funny, and as somebody with a 4-year-old son at home, it hits home perfectly. Renfrow talked about why he may have missed the first, 10 or 12 calls from the Panthers trying to sign him.
I was actually I I had to get a trailer because I had to go get a golf cart. And so I was in there and I was talking to some people at work, is where the trailer was. And so I was not by my phone for 30 minutes, and my daughters were in the car. Like, I was right outside the car. I wouldn't just leave them in there. But I guess I had like 10 minutes phone calls from Dan, Dave, my agent, and they were all just ignored. My daughter's watching Bluey or something. She ignored all of them. So got back in the car and had that conversation, I guess. I don't know, that had been on Thursday maybe. And then just made sure that this is what I wanted to do. Made sure that this is where I wanted to be, which I was pretty sure of it, but just wanted a couple days to kind of make sure it was good with my wife and my family and to go and give everything I got to it.
I'm telling you right now, for those of you that don't have kids or haven't had kids in a while, you try to limit the screen time, right? You try to do the good parent thing. But if there's something you need to do, it sounded like he was getting a trailer. If there's something you need to do and you throw Bluey on the phone and pass it to the kid, even if your phone is ringing, like it's on loud, as long as the kid isn't screaming, you're just like, wow, Bluey's ringer sounds a lot like my ringer, and you go back to doing what you were doing. It's hilarious when it ends up being the Panthers saying, like, Jalen Coker got hurt, we need you to come into the starting lineup, and she's just like, I need to know what happens at the Hammer Barn. Turn it off. Those of you that know Bluey know Bluey.
Yeah, I'm lost on that one, but all right, I get you.
Yeah, it's maybe one day. Once, if you know Blue, there are families out there going like, gotcha. Rusty with the cricket bat, yeah. More from Hunter Renfrow. This is on his side of the conversation with Dave Canales when he was cut when they made their 53-man roster.
I think his biggest thing when I was on the way out was, he felt like I could get there. I wasn't physically ready there yet. Which we'll see, right? We got some games coming up pretty fast. But it was a concern he had, and so he wanted to work with me through it, have me come back and kind of work through it and then go week to week from there. And so that's kind of his message to me. But it was something that I had to make sure I was going to commit to because I wasn't going to show up week 2 or show up and not finish something. So it was just a commitment I had to make.
That's an interesting bit of news. He didn't think he was there physically. Now, obviously, he had dealt with the hamstring injury during training camp, so it could have just been that. It could have just been, listen, man, you hurt your hamstring. I don't think you're there physically. You got to get to the point where you can do this every day without having those sorts of things happen. But if it were like a burst, a speed, a strength, something or another, and Canales didn't think he had it, guess what? That don't show up in a week, right? I mean, I know some good trainers out there. Right, they'll put you on a 60-day challenge or something. I know some good CrossFitters out there that tell you you'll start to feel the difference in 10 days. You're not getting NFL burst or strength or anything like that in a week at home.
No, far from that.
Picking up trailers and getting golf carts or whatever he was doing. It ain't going to work. But guess what? Hunter Renfrow's game was never like, I'm just going to outrun you.
No.
It was never going to be like, I was taking linebackers and putting them on their backside with my brute force. No, it was always wit and guile, and it was always route running, and it was always those sorts of things. So as long as he still has his awareness and his body control and his catching ability, he'll be fine as a wide receiver 3 until Jalen Coker can get healthy. I use this example for quarterbacks all the time, but I'm going to use it for wide receivers this time. He is not, like right now the wide receivers have a flat tire, okay? He's not a new tire like you went to the tire shop and paid a bunch of money for a new tire. He's the little donut, the tiny tire that goes under your couch or under your trunk, right? It's not meant to drive cross country. It's meant to get you to the nearest rest stop. And right now, the way that Jalen Coker's injury has been described to us, the rest stop is week 5. Right? Hunter Renfrow is not supposed to be 1,200 yards receiving, Pro Bowler, 100 catches, whatever he was in 2021. He's supposed to get you to the rest stop in week 5 when Jalen Coker can come back and hopefully take on the role that we all expected him to have when they traded Adam Thielen. It's an issue if you throw on the little tiny tire and I see in the left lane on a highway going 80. You're like, all right, you're trusting that guy a little too much, right? Let's take some back roads. Let's make sure we're never that far from a gas station. Let's be smart about this. Hunter Renfrow can do that. And then Jalen Coker, once you get that tire strapped back in, left lane, rev it up. Let's see the Hemi.